Hey, what's up guys? Frost here.
Today I want to talk about what many mages have been complaining about for the past month or so.
That is Leeway. I was able to do some testing on the stress test and confirmed my suspicions that Leeway is completely avoidable. However, before we get into how to avoid Leeway, let's take a look at exactly what Leeway is. Leeway is extra range on attacks and spells when both your character and the character you are fighting are both moving. That means that two people standing still does not trigger Leeway. If you are moving and your opponent is standing still, that does not trigger Leeway. If your target moves while you stand still, that does not trigger Leeway. The only time when Leeway is triggered is when both you and your target are moving. So what does this mean for Mage? It means that proper Frost Nova usage and character movement allow you to prevent Leeway from ever getting triggered. The easiest way to do this is to stand still while the mobs you pulled run at you, and once they are in Frost Nova range, then you Nova, and once they are frozen, then you start to move away from them. This will prevent Leeway from happening, and as you can see, once your target is frozen, you can walk all around them just outside of melee range, and they won't hit you until you enter melee range. Leeway is not happening because they are not moving. This means that a mage can group up mobs while still only taking a few hits from gathering them up. As you can see, I can rank 1 Frostbolt a bunch of mobs and pull some more with Wand or rank 1 Fire Blast, while I just stand in the middle waiting for them all to get into range. Then I Nova, and then I run away. As you can see, I only take a few hits, but they are all frozen and ready to be blizzarded down. Here's another example of pulling an AoE group and avoiding Leeway. And I could continue to show you these for quite a while, but I think you're getting the point. Gathering AoE pulls will not be impossible because of Leeway, and everyone that has been worrying about it on Reddit and forums can calm down. Everything is going to be okay. Now let's get into how you can actually use Leeway to your advantage. So as I stated earlier, Leeway also affects spells. At first I overlooked this, not realizing the effects of it. However, after some testing, I discovered that this extra range on Arcane Explosion is absolutely huge for Arcane Explosion farming. I was not able to test how Cone of Cold was affected, but I would assume that it would operate in a similar fashion to how Arcane Explosion is affected by Leeway. The only real difference I worry about with Cone of Cold is the issue with it not seeming to work the same way it did on private servers. I have heard speculation that Cone of Cold feels weird because it is based on the center of target, whereas on private servers it was the edge of target. I have also heard that the animation shows different than where it actually goes depending on how your character is being moved. But again, I have not been able to test Cone of Cold in Classic yet, so all I can speak for is what I've heard from other streamers. However, what I can say is Arcane Explosion has a huge range, as you can see in this clip. And as long as the mobs are slowed from your frost armor, there's no risk of them hitting you. So you may get hit once or twice until the slow procs again, or you get Frost Nova back off cooldown. However, it will get incredibly stronger with Cone of Cold, which offers a perma-slow if used on cooldown. And this makes me wonder how strong Cone of Cold kiting with Arcane Explosion will be. The style of AoE opens up a lot more options. One reason is because you don't need as much space to kill a pack of mobs with this style compared to Blizzard style. And another bonus is you don't have to go in as deep into the Frost tree to get reduced Frost spell costs, and you can even skip out on improved Blizzard. This allows you to dive down the Arcane tree for Arcane concentration much sooner. I would prefer this spec if I was doing the Cone of Cold plus Arcane Explosion spam, because this style is slightly more mana intensive, but the Arcane concentration talent will make up for it, since you will most likely get at least one proc per pull. just from the number of times you Arcane Explosion, even though it only has one chance to proc per spell cost, not once per mob that is hit. So overall, not only will AoE farming with Blizzard be perfectly viable in Classic if done correctly, Classic will also make the Cone of Cold plus Arcane Explosion AoE style stronger. So anyone who is worried about not being able to AoE grind to 60 can take a breath of relief, knowing that there are ways to make AoE farming even more viable on Classic WoW. I hope this guide helps. I know it did not address some other issues that people have brought up in regards to AoE farming, but let's be honest, more patrols doesn't make it impossible, you just have to be more aware. Also, less mana does not affect it really, as long as you stack int and use your mana efficiently. Frost Nova breaking early shouldn't be an issue either if you slow them in a reasonable amount of time. And the Blizzard slow delay can be avoided by getting Blizzard off before Nova breaks, or using rank 1 Blizzard to apply the slow before doing a max rank Blizzard to get full damage out of your max rank Blizzard. Really, all these issues have solutions, you just have to know what the solution is to your problem. And that concludes my video on avoiding Leeway and actually using it to your advantage. If you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all on Azeroth.